So you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Hey everybody, what is going on? Welcome once again back to the channel. Well, this is a video that I have kind of been putting off for a while. Something that I have not been looking forward to doing. And that's about the Intellivision Amico. Now I know there has been a ton of YouTubers and people on the internet talking about this and, you know, all the goings on with this. And the only reason why I am making a video of this is kind of a wrap up of a talk that I had on my podcast a while ago. Because in my podcast, I had talked once or twice about the Amico as far as what was going on with it, what I was thinking, and in that there was the most views that I'd ever gotten on any of my podcast episodes. And that necessarily wasn't good, but not necessarily bad, but I did notice there was a reason. You know, the Amico has been something that's very polarizing, and something that I recognized at the time was, you know, I didn't want to be one of these people that made that their bread and butter, okay? Because it can get negative really fast. And I said right then and there, I said, look, you know, it is what it is. I'm just covering it because it's retro gaming news. But I don't want to be one of these people that every week hounds on this. Even though it got a lot of views for me, it wasn't something that I wanted to make my bread and butter. But I did say that, you know, I will come back to this when there's something to talk about, whether it comes out or it doesn't. And unfortunately, I think that time is right now. And I say unfortunately because it doesn't look good for the Amico. And we're going to go over some of the reasons why I think that right now is the time for me just to put the nail in the coffin here and say, you know what, this is the end, and I don't think there's going to be too much to say after this, really. And let me just say, on the flip side of this is, I'm really sorry for the people that, you know, had their pre-orders and that are big fans of Intellivision. I'm a big fan of Intellivision. I grew up with the Intellivision 2, which is, you know, pretty much the Intellivision. And I was an Atari guy. My parents had bought me the Intellivision. And, you know, I'm a big fan of Atari also. But that's not what I know as far as growing up with this. So it is a disappointment. I always say in these scenarios when projects like this come out, I always wish them the best. But we know it's not the easiest thing to do. And I say that not knowing what I'm talking about, really. I can only imagine how difficult it is to bring something like this, some sort of, you know, new video game console to the market. Clearly, it's not that easy. But we are going to talk about the end here because I do believe that this is the end for the Amico. So it all kind of started with the announcement where they had they were going to do a 4th round of crowdfunding, which by this point is a very big red flag because this had already supposed to been out several times. There had been multiple release dates and those had been pushed back. And, you know, I mean, when you're still asking for money at this point, and not just a little bit of money, you're talking millions and millions of dollars. And I don't have the numbers here. If you want the numbers, there are plenty of other places to go and get that by this point. I'm just doing a recap and then my hands, I'm out. So they wanted another crowdfunding campaign. And of course, that didn't go over well. I think they got like $50,000 or something, but weren't able to keep it just because it fell so far short of their goals. And, you know, a lot of the money was for two things, because, you know, when people started breaking down what it was that they needed this money for, was just to finish the actual finish of the development of the console itself, and to keep the company actually running, you know, paying people that are on the payroll. But another thing was, you know, they didn't even well, it appears that they didn't even have the contracts set up for the actual manufacturing of this product, which I guess is a pretty big problem when you don't have things set up when you develop something and then you're not ready to actually make it. So that kind of puts a damper on things. They put out a video, I don't know, what was it, like a week ago now, of an unboxing, and which I thought was really odd. You know, I mean, it just seems like there's no way they're going to have the money to go forward. They're not bringing any money in as far as investors go, as far as we know. It really doesn't look like it. And you know, they're not selling anything. I mean, they sold the physical media earlier. Well, now it's last year, which wasn't actually physical media. It was just a card with, I think it was like a scan bar on it or whatever for you to be able, it was like a key to be able to, you know, download that game off their store, which has never been, you know, confirmed as actually being ready to go anyway. But so they did an unboxing video, and it was, you know, I mean, to me, it looked legit, you know, I mean, yeah, but it was like, okay, is this a one-up? Because, I mean, you knew that they weren't manufacturing these things yet. Everything that they show, or all of the hardware, it's prototypes. Now, they look nice, but, you know, this isn't something that they're manufacturing yet. So I thought that was kind of weird that they put that video up. I'm just checking my notes here to make sure I don't miss anything here. You know, and another thing that really kind of shows that this is the end is a lot of the people that were avid supporters really just jumped ship here, as far as they actually put in for refunds. Now, I will say, you know, from everything that I've heard, that people that bought or put in their pre-orders directly from Intellivision have not had trouble getting back their refunds, which is really nice. That's great. That's great to hear. And that's really nice. But, you know, I mean, those people that were the avid supporters and that have now gotten their refund. So I think that's a big telltale sign of where things are going with all this. And another thing that really kind of resonated with me is the reports that there were loans made to Intellivision from people inside the company. Namely, I think somebody on the board, and then maybe Tommy Tallarico loaned the company money, which I always remember from people in Hollywood, in the movies, saying you never invest your own movie in your own project here. And that's kind of where I was at with this. I was like, well, that doesn't sound like that would be a good idea. But then also the fact that the loan made from one of the people that's on the board to pay him back, supposedly he made a deal to where he would get so much money from each one of the consoles produced. And I don't know. I don't know business here, and especially in the video gaming world, I don't know if that's a common thing. To me, it doesn't seem like that's a common thing. That seems it seems shady. At least that part of it, to where you would make a deal like that. So with that going, I was like, okay, so there's a whole bunch of red flags going on here. It doesn't look like they're going to have the money to keep going here. And unfortunately, I know there are some people out there that'll be like, well, maybe, you know, the people that pre-ordered the Founders Edition are going to be able to get theirs. I don't see how. I don't know where they're going to have the money to actually produce these systems, because they just don't have the money. I mean, even if they took the console, what they have right now, and started producing something, I don't know that they have the money to do that, because the setup, from what I understand, to set up a line to have production done is very, very expensive. So Yeah, and the other thing that, sorry, I'm just looking at my notes here. Another thing that I've been going over in my mind, it's like, okay, let's say they do bring this to market. Like, they get the money, they figure it out, and they get to market. Who's developing games for this now? Because really, who would want to? And who would want to spend their time and their money to take the chance at developing a game, putting a game on this system that ultimately stands a good chance of not coming out? So even if this does come to market, are there going to be any more games that are there right now? I mean, you know, they talk about the Shark or cornholing and skiing and all these games that we've heard about for like the last 2-3 years. And that's all we've heard about. Is there anything else in development? I don't know. I haven't heard anything. So it's a shame. It's a shame that doesn't look like it's going to happen. But it's like I always said, though, you know, with any of this stuff, you know, whether it's the Atari VCS, the Polymega, or the Intellivision Amico, when you back something on crowdfunding, it's always a gamble. You're taking a chance. You are taking a chance, you know. And I think, you know, what made this a little bit different was how polarizing this got, because I can't believe like how much drama there is around this. I mean, it's retro gaming, okay? It's Intellivision. You know, who would have thought? Not me in a million years. But, you know, now with social media, with YouTube, you know, the fire gets lit and it gets burning hot real fast. So I think that's pretty much all I gotta say. It looks like this is the end for the Intellivision. So to everybody out there who was excited about this, not getting it, I'm sorry, guys. I really am. But you know what? We're still in a great time for retro gaming. There's always new projects around the corner and new opportunities to play those old games that you have a lot of good feelings, a lot of nostalgia for. So don't worry, guys. There's always something new out there for you around the bend. All right, guys. Well, that takes it for this time. Takes care of it for this time. Blah. And until next time, I'll see you later. Take care.